Simple. Simple lungs. We need that, right? Lungs, low section, midsection, and top. Low section, midsection, and top. Low section primarily in the back, the big oxygenating, important pumping section. They're all important, but big oxygenating, important. And then the mid, not lobes, but the midsections of the lungs, right through the front chest and the side chest, disappearing in the back because they're cone shaped, opening in the back. And then the top lobes coming up like this cone again, only top facing, all the way up under the top three ribs, up peaking just above the collarbones and supporting the front ribs in the top and the top three ribs in the back. Okay, so easy deep breathing to begin. Take your hands on your thighs. We know something about three-part breath, so we usually will build the breath from the bottom through the middle and into the top. So we'll do that now together. This is a practice. If you know the Ujjayi breath, you can engage that slight constriction in the back of the throat that directs your breath up through the nasal pathways around the top pharynx, down behind the soft palate, all the way down the trachea, and then as it bifurcates, the trachea bifurcates, it goes the two directions, and then it goes down, mid, and top. Of course, they're all happening at the same time, but in learning to use our lungs, we will often go to the low lung first. So let's take some breaths with that. Begin in the low back portion of your lungs. If you're using an Ujjayi, you can hear that there's a fluid sound inherent in Ujjayi, and we're in the lungs, which are fluid, rich, deep, low humming organs. As organs, they're fluid, and we're bringing the air into these fluid organs. So good. Now shift it and take your breath primarily, just feeling the initiation of the breath spreading through the mid portions of your lungs. It may be helpful to take your hands, which is fine. Good. And then travel on up to the top portion and allow the breath to sip in and articulate the ribs as it moves in the top portion of your lungs. Good. Now, with an inhale, open your palms and you can feel there's a weightedness to the air. That's the gravity drawing both the air earthward and then the air which you're holding into your own body, the weight of the air into your own body and down. Right. So there's that. And then inhaling, big breath in, turn the palms open, and maybe even peek up a little bit. In the upward peak, you can roll that top portion of your lung underneath the ribs. You rotate it up, and it'll support a bit of an upward gaze. And this is the aspiration, the aspiring upward gaze that we incorporate so beautifully in our yoga practices. And exhale and bring the hands together. Hold your heart tenderly in your palms as it is also being held tenderly in the moving and breathing lungs. Bow your head if you like. Feel into the who and what you are at the personal here right now. The acceptance of the personal in all its rich trials, tribulations, and beauties. And then the yielding to the very, very center of the heart, the universal heart. Take it back into the personal. Good. And as you're inhaling, just take one of your arms up and then wrap the other behind. You can use a strap for this or not. Your strap can be over the shoulder, so this is the Gomukhasana arms. That up arm that you feel here is expanding the space of that side lung. And the low arm is actually compressing and condensing into that side lung. See if you can feel it. You may even want to slide the elbow up in the top lung. And I'd like you to imagine, notice, and feel the continuity between that upside arm lung and the marrow, the meat, the thick, and the vitality of the marrow of your bone. It's continuity with lung. Now here we go. As you're inhaling, you're going to reach that top arm up and slip the other hand behind your waist. Exhale, pull your arm down. So you're pulling in through and densifying your own torso body right through your lung. Touch into the earth. Yield down and push. As you're inhaling, feel the earth touch travel up through your own lung region, your lung, and push pulsing into the earth to touch. So this is touch, you're touching earth, and that touch flows right up through you, in and through your lungs, especially on this condensing side. When we want something to to free, to open, and to slide, like we do the lobes of the lungs on one another and inside of the thoracic bones there, when we want that, first we condense. We touch in like swaddling a baby. All right, now push down and use the condensing side to inhale, unfurl, coming up and turning. So you're coming into a twisting situation. You can press your hand down onto your thigh, or if you have blocks, whatever, you could be doing this in a chair, and pulse into yourself again. So now you're bringing in that pulse into the backside lung. As you take your head around, avoid the tendency to drop the head down. Feel how that will close up the top front lung in the back there. Allow that top front lung to slide up under the ribs. Unhinge your jaw. Good. And with an inhale, you're coming back around to front. So you're going to spin that back arm. You're coming into Garudasana arms. The back arm is spinning, and you wrap here. Back arm comes under, and you intertwine and pulse again. Now, feeling for the pulsing, the yielding, pushing, pulsing of your arms into your arms, also into your core body, pit of belly, coccyx at the base, pelvic floor rising, and then right up through the center as if the spinning of your arms was the Ida and Pingala nadis And your fingers up at the top, right? Those little wavy fingers, the piercing of this shumna into the soft palate. And here we go, coming up. So push the arms together. This is stabilizing into the lungs and reach them, backs of hands face one another, all the way up. So both sides are expanding. The power of aspiration might be very clear here. Inhale, big breath in. And as you're exhaling, bring your arms around behind. You can go into reverse namaste here, or just take your hands behind you. Slide, if you're in reverse namaste, slide your hands up a bit, listen. And then just on the back side of your spine, just on those back bones, pull the hands down along the spine and slip up the front spine right in the back abdominal wall. And bring them around, inhale, breath. And as you're exhaling, hands to thighs. Now, feel free. I'm going to come into a downward dog before we take the other side, because that too is just delightful and wonderful for lungs. So come on around. And you're ready for downward dog. And it's a relational yield and push into the earth that goes all the way through you. It's a big inhale. And the exhale, as if your lungs pour their dark, rich vitality earthward. And you can bring your legs back any amount, slide your heels back. Maintain the connectivity and the continuity of your arms through their marrow with your lungs. Ujjayi breath might be helpful, and a little bit of an undulating up through the deep belly as you shift some weight side to side. Legs, pelvic half, so on. And then when that feels good, comfortable, and done for the moment, come on back down. And again, I'm choosing Virasana, but you could be anywhere. All right. Wait for it a moment. There's never been a hurry. And then with an inhale, you can bring that arm up and the opposite one around behind you. And truthfully, I can hold on one, I can't hold on the other. Sometimes I do the strap, and sometimes I just use my own body to support. So here we are, breathing. And that perhaps differentiating of the top lung on the up arm side. Perhaps you can breathe into the down lung on that side and imagine it flooding its dark, rich, moist prana down the back, kidney word, deep back, and the wide of the mid. Meanwhile, compressing the low arm side, and then with an inhale, top arm is rising, and you're pulling it down, fingers of the opposite arm around there to hold, touch. Inhale, yield deeply, come up with the head, and exhale, take support. Take the moving and breathing and deep, rich support of the earth under you. Feel the coordination of your active touch and the earth's active response, and the touch of the one to the other inside of you. Touch. Touch is the sense of air. Air. In deep liquid. Now, here we go. Push down. As you're inhaling, come up and around through the underside of that head as you're spinning and taking your gaze behind you. Don't take the chin down. Keep your chin up. Yield, touch, push, pulse. So it's quite feeling, right? This is a sensual way to find and free the lungs. Deep touch. Perfect. Now, as you're inhaling, you're coming around and the back arm's going to go under, and it's a sweep and a wrap and a commitment and the reach of the fingers and the release of the coccyx and the breathfulness of the pelvic diaphragm moving with the thoracic. Expanding, condensing, yielding to the movement of life, and pulsing through the arms any amount you like in order to feel the wrappings of your lungs. And they're freeing one upon the other through the membranes, their wrappings, and all the way up you reach, and it's big. It's big or not, whatever it is. Inhale. As you're exhaling, pull around again. Hands go behind you or to reverse namaste. If you're using reverse namaste, gently with your hands caught, tug them down. So you've got the back of your spine and you're tugging it down. Free the tail. Slide up the front of your spine. Easy breathing. And the arms come around and rest on your thighs again. Having freed the spaces in the lungs, having freed the lungs from the thoracic wall, having widened and domed our diaphragms naturally on purpose, paying attention to what we're doing, then you allow yourself to feel the gifts. You feel the gifts, the sweetness of the lungs, cradling heart, tender heart, lungs.